friend of mine said, can you please show me how to do a reverse sear steak on the Ninja Woodfire? So it's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to reverse sear this beautiful T-bone steak, and then going to show you how to make a fresh chimichurri that we can lay all across the steak and we'll elevate it to the next level. And then finally I'm just going to show you a really beautiful but simple truffle oil French fries. Now that sounds pretty good to me. Let's do it. So there's three things I look for in every steak, regardless of what cut it is. Now this is a T-bone cut. You can see the bone is starting here and going up through the middle of the steak. But what I look for really is that deep red colour. It means it's got some really good dry aging on it. Secondly, kind of like this marbling, so you've got this fat that's running throughout the steak. Now that fat running through is going to add so much flavour and so much moisture to the steak. It just make it really juicy and beautiful to eat. And then the final thing I look for is this fat cap. I mean, look at that beautiful fat cap you've got there. Now we're going to render that down in the last part of the cook, and that again is going to add a lot of flavour. A lot of people really enjoy eating the fat, so we're going to make sure that this is delicious. Now in terms of trimming, the only bit I'm going to trim here is obviously where it's been dry aged a bit, it's sat on the counter perhaps for a little bit. It's kind of like gone a little bit of a like over oxidized, I like to call it. If you know a better term, leave it down below, but I like to look at it as that. And that's not going to make good eating at all. But apart from that, the fat itself, like I say, looks beautiful, and there is no real trim to do. So just very literally taking off the minuscule amount. That's it, that's all I'm taking off. So you can see, gone down to that beautiful red meat. Now seasoning is really simple when it comes to a steak this beautiful. You don't have to do loads of complex rubs, you can keep it really nice and simple and just use ingredients that enhance the flavour of this steak, because ultimately this is kind of what we want to enjoy. Now I like to use Worcestershire sauce. I think it adds like a really beautiful sort of like subtle flavour to it, and it works beautifully with beef. You'll see when I do lots of steaks and briskets and stuff like that, I quite often use this. Now we're just simply going to apply it, rub it all over. Any bit where you've got to come like anything that you're going to apply seasoning to, it just really adds kind of like a nice bit of flavour, nice bit of umami. So this is Malden and this is smoked sea salt. It is beautiful. The smell of it is just stunning. You can tell I've got a massive pot, but get yourself some of this stuff, it's beautiful. If you can't get hold of this, any sort of really nice good quality salt will do you well, and it's a case of just really generous application. So this is a big piece of meat. It's got to be, I don't know, maybe 5 centimetres, 7 centimetres thick. So a really kind of like decent steak. I mean, this is going to feed a couple of people. I'm not going to be the only one eating this. Don't forget, do the old fat as well. You want to make sure that's beautifully covered as well. And then again, a nice bit of salt from a bit of height, so you get a nice application, nice and even. Just double check it, make sure you've not missed any bits. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Then I'm going to get a nice bit of pepper. Now because we're smoking this first and then we're going to reverse sear it later, the pepper shouldn't be burning, it should kind of like mellow out quite nicely. Now you can get lots of rubs that work really well, but I like kind of like nice and simple, like I say, bringing out the flavours. And then the last thing I'm going to do is get some garlic powder and just give that a nice sprinkling all over. Beautiful. Don't forget the fat. We're going to make this fat beautiful to eat, so don't go short on that at all. Perfect. So I'm going to let this set out for about 10-15 minutes. The only reason I'm doing that is I want that salt to start to penetrate deep in the meat. Kind of adds that flavour throughout the whole of the steak. Now you can do this overnight. In fact, if you can do it overnight, it's a fantastic thing to do. I'm doing this all in one day, so we're going to just season it and just use it straight away. So let's let this sit out for about 10-15 minutes. So 15 minutes. Let's go back to that and I'll show you what we're going to do that next. And as you can see, the salt is starting to penetrate into the steak. You can see all the like surface water that's coming up here. That means it's drawing out that moisture, but it's at, you know, like 15 minutes. It's time to put it in the smoker. Now, as you know, I like to use digital thermometer, so I'm using my ThermalWorks and I'm using the signals. So with a meat probe, I'm going to stick it in this part of the meat, so I'm going to aim for it about there. I'm avoiding the bone because the bone will give a bit of a false reading. Obviously the meat will cook at a different rate than the actual bone, and as I'm interested in what the actual meat's doing, that's where I'm going to stick my probe. So we're going to push it in the middle and I'm aiming for about there. Now, like normal, I'm using cooking pellets today. Now the reason I like cooking pellets is not only are they beautiful quality, really high grade, nothing but the actual wood that's meant to be in there, i.e. no other additional wood oils or anything like that to kind of like bring out any flavour, but also they are really low in creosote. So I have not seen any other pellet that performs as well as this in the Ninja. So in terms of creosote, all this black stuff that you get in the back of here, that's the creosote. You don't want that. And I have to say that cooking pellets are by far the best one, so I would 100% recommend this. I'll leave a link to their website down below. But let's put our pellets in our hopper. Now we're going to set it to smoke, and I'm going to set the temperature initially. So about 120 should be about 250, but I know from cooking with this is probably a bit too high. So I'm going to drop that down to about 100, and I'm going to set it for 2 hours, but I'm going to trust the instant read thermometer, so that's basically what I'm going to do. So let's get our steak. Now I've got my smoke train here because obviously I want the smoke to envelop the steak. That's that beautiful flavour that we want to impart on it. So let's get the steak, slap bang in the middle, and then we'll shut this down. Now a lot of people say well, you shouldn't do the ignition, but this is going to be a really short cook. I want as much smoke flavour on this as possible, so I'm going to leave the steak in there during the ignition phase just to get that extra bit of smoke. But I'll bring you back when it hits internal temperature of about 120, and then I'll show you what to do next. So we've been just literally an hour and 4 minutes. The signal, ThermalWorks signal's telling me the temperature is 125, and I just want to check that. That is looking beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Definitely time to pull this. So let's take this out and we're going to let it rest for a bit, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to sear it. So now we've got our steak off and it's resting a little bit. Now we've done that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, taking off 125, we want to get it up to medium, which is about 135 to 140. So we need to allow a little bit of time for, firstly, the temperature that we're going to get when we're actually searing it, and secondly, when we allow it to rest a little bit longer, then basically that temperature will carry over a little bit, and you kind of need to allow for that. The other thing is that I've got a flat top griddle, which is an accessory that you can get for the Ninja Woodfire. So I want to put that on griddle. I want to turn the temperature right up so I can get this really searing hot, so I can get a really nice sear on this. So while that's hanging out, let's get this up to temperature. So I've taken my other griddle out. I'm going to stick that one in, close it down. Then, so I want to put it to grill and on high. It doesn't really matter about the time, so you don't want to be fussing around it switching off, so just stick it to 30 minutes or something like that and click it on high. So we want this to get up temperature, so we just really want to sear the steak off. We're not looking to kind of add any more kind of like cooking in terms of the internals, we're just looking to get that beautiful crust. So let's let this preheat, and then I'll bring you back and show you exactly what I'm going to do next. Right, so now the preheat's complete, and I've opened it up just to let a bit of that smoke come out, because you will get quite a bit of heat. So you have to complete the preheat in order for them to be able to open up and to cook on it. So let's get our steak, and then let's get a beautiful sear. Now I'm going to always start with the fat side for two reasons. Firstly, you want to render that beautiful fat. You want that to be really beautiful. You're going to be able to eat that and it just be absolutely crispy and gorgeous. And secondly, it helps get a bit of fat on the actual griddle itself, and that just means that you're not going to get any sticking or anything like that. You can always see that it's got that beautiful char thing now, right on there. So we are looking purely for colour. That's all we want. We just want a beautiful bit of colour on it. It's cooked pretty much where we want it. We just want that beautiful bit of colour, that beautiful sear flavour. And we're just going to keep moving it around. Don't be frightened. If it's bending up, don't be frightened to push down it to get full contact on the actual griddle. If the meat's not touching the griddle, then you're not cooking anything. So you want that kind of like really touching, and we're just going to literally keep flipping it until we get that beautiful colour that we're looking for. One last time. So look where we are in terms of temperature. So at the moment 128. Hope that's coming off in the camera. So now if we take this off and let it rest, so if we take this off now and let it rest, it's going to come up to a little bit of temperature that we want, and that is perfect. So look at that. I mean, that is a thing of beauty. Okay, so I've taken this back off, I've wrapped it back in our tin foil, and I'm just going to let that hang out. Now why it does that, I'm going to show you how we're going to do some really beautiful truffle fries in the air fryer, in the griddle. I mean, you can't have steak without fries. So you will need the air fryer attachment, or I can't remember if it comes with it or not. If it doesn't, you need to buy it. And these are just normal covered chips, nothing special about these. So put some in there, and now I'm going to put air fry, and just for about 10 minutes. That's going to allow that steak to rest down and be perfect for cooking. So let's put these on. Now before I put this back on, I'll just wipe out any kind of like heavy residual fat. It doesn't have to be spotless, but I would do as much as if there's any fat that's collected, definitely put that in there. Then we're going to set it to air fry, 205, 10 minutes, Bob's your uncle. Now I don't worry about it not being preheated, because also we've just done the griddle, so this really shouldn't take long to get up to temperature anyway. Just put the chips in, it just saves a little bit of time as well, and it won't have any adverse effect. I'm going to come back in about 8 minutes. I will check these. I never quite trust the 10-minute mark, so I'll check these in about 8 minutes. So our fries are done and beautiful and crispy. Now while they're still hot, you want to get yourself some truffle olive oil. Get as best quality as you possibly can, and we're just going to give this a really kind of like nice drizzle. And these chips being all nice and hot are just going to absolutely just lap up that oil. And then get yourself some beautiful sea salt, and then while you're mixing that oil in, just sprinkle kind of like that salt about, and these chips will just be absolutely hungry for this salt. And as you can see, they are looking beautiful. Now it's time to get our steak out, slice it, and see how we did. I am proper excited for this. Oh, it smells amazing. Now look at that. That is what you call a steak. Now that is entirely cooked on the Ninja. That just shows how capable this thing is. I'm actually growing to really love it, I have to say. Now, you've got juices in there. Do not chuck those away. We're going to keep them. Right, to get this beautiful steak. Oh. Let's see how we do. Oh yeah. Look at that, lush pink all the way through. That looks incredible. Now, let's give it a try. Look at that. Now, try a bit on its own first. Oh yeah. Oh, that is that is so good. It is really tender, beautiful beef flavour. Taste all that salt that's penetrated on that. Now let's try it with a bit of chimney. Gotta try it with a bit of chimney. Oh, love chimney. That is amazing. Now if you like this video and you want to learn how to cook more things on the Ninja Woodfire, check out this video where I show you how to cook a Brisquetta on the Woodfire, and trust me, you're going to want to watch this video. It is amazing. Now don't forget, smash that subscribe button, and until the next video, take care of yourselves and I'll see you all soon. Like a truck